Hello, hello, hello. We are back again. I am super excited. We are back again with yet another special guest. I'm super excited as we are continuing to speak about domestic violence this month. We have our special guest this evening, Miss Valerie Thompson. Those that might have tuned in to Kingdom Marriage in Its Purpose on iHeartRadio, she was our guest there, and we decided to bring her on over to Walk It Out Inspirations Talk Truth Talk Show. I am so super excited because of what she's doing in the community. She comes forth to speak about another side of domestic violence. Have you ever thought about the children that go through the foster care system, that's in the foster care system? Have you ever thought about maybe behind the scenes, are they really being cared for, or are they going through abuse with their foster parents? Well, I have a little short story to share. With me as a child, being in the foster care system, the family that we were with, they didn't abuse me because they thought I was crazy, which I was used to. Everybody thought I was crazy. That was funny. But for the most part, they abused my brother. But in a sense, I did go through some abuse as well, because when we went to the courts to let the counselor and our advocate and the people that were involved in our case, our social worker and everything, I let them know what was going on, that they still let us go home with that family. And when we got there, that family locked me and my brother in our rooms and said we could not have dinner because we were trying to vandalize their name. We were trying to talk bad about them and try to make it bad for them. So we didn't have dinner. They didn't feed us that night. So it was really, really terrible what we went through. And I mean, the house that we went from house to house to house, which caused that trauma, that instability, because we hopped from house to house. The first house we were in, it was an older lady. She was so sweet, so nice, but we could not stay there because she didn't have separate rooms for my brother and I. My brother and I could not share the same room because we were the opposite sex. So they end up moving us to another home, and that's the home that we went through the abuse and everything in. Then from that home, we moved to another home, which was a family member. And thank God we stayed there until the case was dismissed and my brother and I were able to go back home with my mom. So I thank God for that. So that is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about those children, because children are so pure. They're so innocent. They're just looking for somebody to nurture, protect them, keep them covered, right? And then when you're in the arms of people and they're so trusting, because they're so innocent, they're so trusting. They'll, okay, thinking that I'm with somebody that's going to care about me until I get a chance to go back home to my parents, whatever the case and situation might be, and then to find out it's the opposite. So we're going to deal with that and talk about how that affects a child that goes through the foster care system. So without further ado, I'm not going to hold off any longer. I'm going to go ahead and bring our guest on, Miss Valerie Thompson. Hello, gorgeous. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful. So glad to have you on here. So glad. I'm glad you came on back.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to, be asked to come back. So I couldn't say no. Thank you so much.
It is no problem at all. Look, it's with great pleasure. So I just was letting them know. We were talking. I let them know my little testimony shared, when I was a child and I was in the foster care system, some of the things that I experienced as a child. And to have those experiences, I knew, and I know I can't be the only child that's going through abuse by their foster parents and being drugged from one home to another, to another, to another, to another on a continuous. I know what it did for me and how it
Mhm.
affected me. But let's talk about that with these other children, because you have an organization, Beautiful Ashes, that is focused on those children, those foster care children that
Yes.
may age out of the system, or they may say, oh, they can't stay in the system no more. And then they're left without no nurturement,
Right.
nobody to show I care for you, I'm with you. So tell us a little bit about your organization and what's the big cause of why you did it.
Yes. So basically, the big cause of why I decided to move forward with Beautiful Ashes, and focus on the foster kids, especially the ones transitioning out, because per research I've done and kind of, seen out in the open myself of how much they are, neglected, basically, I guess you can say,
Hmm. Yeah.
because they have nowhere to go. A lot
Hmm.
of them, they try to scramble for food, basically to survive. Is the
Hmm.
whole thing. Over 50% of children end up homeless, dead. They're the highest rate that commit suicide. I
Wow.
don't know if anyone knows that, but they are the highest rate that commit suicide. So, not feeling like you're wanted and not having that person there that shows you that you matter and care for you. I mean, when you think about it, where will you turn?
Right.
Who's there? You're thinking, who's there for me? Who can I turn to? So that's the
Hmm.
purpose of Beautiful Ashes, to let them know we're here for you. Not only for you, we want to help you step into your destiny. And by
Hmm.
allowing you to, build your morals, because a lot of them are torn down by, abuse, as well as verbal abuse. To me,
Yes.
because
Yes.
I've been in situations where it's been both, and to be honest, to me, verbal abuse beats you down more than physical,
Yes.
because you continuously have that person or those words in your ears, and you start to, not that you really start to believe them, but because they've been spoken to you so much, it kind of have you like, okay, is this really me? Is this how I am? um, is this the type of person I am? And you're not. But again, when you have so much negativity spoke over you, I mean, that's, you start to believe that. So we kind of want to, help them build their morals back up, as well as give them that confidence to let them know you matter. You can
Hmm.
continue to live. You could continue to go after your dreams. Your dreams
Right.
doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So continue to go after your dreams. So that's basically the foundation of that. But also provide them with the housing, the education, so they can be able to move forward and stand out on their own. Again, kind of like what you did. You didn't let that stop you. You continue to move forward and walk into your destiny, and even better than what you could imagine. So that's just kind of what we want to do. Let them know we're here for you, and we're going to work all the way through from beginning to the end until you get out comfortable on your own. So yeah, that's basically kind of what we're going to focus on.
That's good. That's good. And you brought up some key points, about the rate so far as in those children that go through the suicide, because I can say for myself going through, I didn't feel wanted. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel enough.
Mhm.
Even after I was able to go back home with my parents,
Mhm.
it did something. It it lowered my self-esteem about myself even the more.
Right.
Um I already didn't really feel like, I already knew I didn't fit in. I
Mhm.
knew I wasn't worthy.
Mhm.
I felt less than, I already had those and had a low self esteem about myself
Right.
as is. So to have to go through that,
Mhm.
being pulled away from my parents, and then going from home to home to home, like nobody wants me, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm a terror. I'm the worst child. I'm the rebellious child, the
Mhm.
the the child that nobody wants because she can't get her life together, right?
Yeah.
So hopping and continuing to hop, that just had my self-esteem become even lower and lower, to the point where I
Yes.
did become suicidal. I battled with the
Yeah.
mindset of suicide for years,
Wow.
even in my adulthood,
Mhm.
because I still felt unworthy. I was battling identity crisis. I didn't know who I was. So just imagine a child going through trauma from a little girl on up, and now you're an adult and you're trying
Mhm.
to be an adult, but it's hard
Yes.
because the little girl in you is still suffering. The
Mhm.
little girl in you is still mourning, and the little girl is still trying to cry out, looking for love, and
Yes.
you end up looking for love in the wrong places. So for
Yes.
women and even for men, a lot of the issues, the narcissists, the
Mhm.
ones that become narcissists, the ones that
Yes.
become abusive, the
Mhm.
ones that express themselves through anger and rage, and
Mhm.
just the ones that become pedophiles, the one that become
Yes.
murderers. Let's look back at the history of where it all comes, because the seeds are planted when we are children. But they actually, according to research, it starts from the time we're in our mother's womb.
Right. So even with that, going back to what you were saying, they're trying to find their self. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them, again, with the switching from home to home, that continue each time they change locations. That that's more when you think about it. That kind of tears them down more and have them thinking, okay, so who am I?
Right.
Like as a
Mm-hmm.
person, who am I? As a child, as a young adult, whatever the case may be, who am I? So with that, they kind of start, maybe the environment they're around, they kind
Mm-hmm.
of gravitate towards that. It may not be a good environment. So if it's not a good environment, that what makes them, may decide to, um, I guess you can kind of say, not commit suicide or anything like that, but kind of think of, well, I'm going to do drugs, I'm going to drink, I'm going to sleep around, I'm going to steal. It's so much that that can go through their heads as children, so that kind of, I feel, put them in a position to where if they have that person or the community, because again,
Mm-hmm.
it all comes with us working together, that community that
Mm-hmm.
shows them, regardless of what you have been through, regardless of where your roots lie, you can still change that. You can be the one,
Mm-hmm.
the voice of your own family, and change that. So that's the whole thing, is regardless of what you've been through, you can still go out and conquer the world. And that's
Mm-hmm.
really, like I said, one thing I want to make sure they understand, is that it's not the end. I
Mm-hmm.
know, because again, think about it: of physical abuse, verbal abuse, molestation.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. So you don't, we just want to try to, I guess, build them as much as we can, and just continue to help them step into their purpose. Not
Yes.
only just step into their
Yes.
purpose, but give them, how to go and apply for jobs, how to do your
Mm-hmm.
resume, basically everything that they need to know as young adults, so they
Mm-hmm.
can continue to move forward. When they transition out from the program, they're ready to step out and conquer, go
Yes.
wherever they want to go in life. So it's
Yes.
it's a, it's a it's a bunch, a lot to be done, but we just have to start. And when we start, God will guide the rest of the way. That's just how I feel. So
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what they say, it takes a village to raise them, right?
yes, exactly.
The beauty about children is a child knows. They know.
Hmm.
They have, when they're loved,
Hmm.
when they're accepted, when it's genuine
Hmm.
and it's real.
Right.
A child can pick that up.
They
So,
can.
can you imagine? Let's say the child does have to go through foster care or whatever
Hmm.
temporarily, because, things happen, life happens. Parents can go through relapses and go through situations themselves. We don't know what the root cause is,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
A temporary situation, right? Let's
Yes.
just say that child did have to go to a foster care system for a while till mom and dad got it together, or
Hmm.
whatever the case may be. But let's say they got into the system and they received love.
Hmm.
And then when they got to school, they received love. And then when they got into other locations, whether it's church or other places, extracurricular activities,
Hmm.
they received love. and they were shown that I care about you. I'm
Yeah.
nurturing you. I'm with you. So can you imagine if that child, everywhere they went, how that would help them
Yes.
if they felt loved and nurtured and
Mhm.
protected everywhere?
Right. It gives them hope.
It does.
It gives them hope. So, and if we have just us like us as adults, if we have hope or have someone that's there that's continue to cheer us on, or just showing us that we matter, it gives us the confidence, just being more courageous, more bold
Mhm.
to step out in it, even though we may not be comfortable. But just walking it out, like you said,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
your show
Walk it
say,
out. That's
walking it
right.
out. And so and again, we all have to go through certain phases in life,
Mm-hmm.
to get to that point to where it's like, okay, I will no longer dwell in what I used to be,
Mm-hmm.
where I came from. So
Mm-hmm.
once you make that decision and you start taking those steps, God takes the rest of them. And he
Mm-hmm.
leading God to place the right people in your path that
That's
can
right.
help you, continue to move forward. And
Yep.
that's what we're wanting to do. Give them hope,
Mm-hmm.
and show them that love and that care. Because again, that kids know when it's genuine.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it like this. If someone come up to you, they decide they just want to give you a hug. Like that hug would change your day. You can be having
Yeah.
the worst day ever. That one hug can change your day. That one word can change your day. So
Mm-hmm.
by doing that for the children, only imagine how much. And again, they're young; they're going to be younger. So only imagine how far they can go. How much more they're going to believe in their self. How much more they're going to not only believe in their self, they're going to even encourage other people that may be
Mm-hmm.
going through the same thing they're going through. You got to think
Yes.
about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just one. They will definitely start talking about it, and people will
Mm-hmm.
start seeing it in their self too. So therefore, that'll start gravitating more people towards them
Mm-hmm.
because they see that change, they see that hope
Yes.
in them.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, even with my children going through temporarily being taken from me,
Mm-hmm.
when I got them back, it was like, oh my God,
Wow.
I got to start all over again because it was anger, it was rage, it was resentment, it was defiance. I don't even want to
Mm-hmm.
call it rebellion. It was just being defiant. It was because they were so upset.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So there was a book that I would tell any parent to get. And it's called The Love Dare for Parents.
Okay. I'm gonna have to
And
get that.
in that book, it's a 40-day challenge. Every day, it pushes you to do actions of
Mm-hmm.
love.
Wow.
So from day 1 to day 40, the challenges they increase. They start off small. Like the first challenge, I remember the first challenge, it says, just tell your children you love them, just out of nowhere. Just tell them you love them.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has, what I love about it, it has a little section where you can journal. They'll ask you questions. What was the results? How did they
Mm-hmm.
respond? How did you feel doing this action? Will you do it again?
Right.
When I started that in the beginning, my children was looking at me like, you're crazy. What? You're doing what? It was abnormal for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I realized was I couldn't love them back to the nurturement, the sweet children, the obedient children, the
Right.
respectful children, because I still was going through where I still didn't feel loved. Neither did I love myself.
Right.
So it
That's.
was like we all was jacked up in the house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was just it was a lot. So doing that challenge, God was dealing with me,
Mm-hmm.
but it also brought a stronger bond with my children where they began to change because they began to realize, okay, this ain't just a fake. This ain't because mommy just doing it or whatever. No,
Mm-hmm.
mommy really does love us. Mommy really does care. Mommy is truly sorry for us being separated.
Right.
It says love covers the multitude of sin. I know y'all, I've been saying it all month and I'm going to keep saying it because it's true.
It does.
It covers the multitude of sin. So, with these programs like Beautiful Ashes and other programs that they have out there, get your children involved because the Bible always also talks about how the children shall lead.
Yes,
So,
it
can you imagine if the children are leading in anger and rage, what our worlds would be?
is. Mm.
The
Ooh,
shootings, the killings, the fightings, the wars, the gangs.
yes.
That's
Right.
a bunch of hurt children that
Yes.
never found someone to take the time to help them go through the healing
Hmm.
process and also help them get to the root of why are you so angry?
Right. Yes. Yes. That's part is true. And to kind of piggyback off that, even with my children, the transition that we kind of had to go through almost 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I seen a change in them in that transition we had to go through because we had to basically leave our home. So with that, it was like it was, I'm gonna say, rebellious.
Yeah.
Rebellion from both ends. I have a son and a daughter, so um, I had to kind of learn to remember that they were in that situation along with me.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine how I felt coming out of the situation, which was better because it was a verbal as well as physically at times.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they weren't, affected in that, but they were there seeing their mom, hearing it from, hearing it come speak it towards against their mom, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So once I really sat down and talked to them and really understood how they felt, that brought us closer. Again, I not saying weren't thinking about them, but I wasn't, I guess at the time, because I didn't have that growth and have that
Mm-hmm.
understanding, I didn't know that they were impacted the way that they were.
Right.
I'm just thinking, it's me because again, it's happening to me. It's been spoken to me, but to
Mm-hmm.
know, a child being put in that situation where they literally feel like they can't do anything, they can't help their mom,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of goes back to the foster kids. Think about how they
Mm-hmm.
feel because they have no one they feel they can reach out to help. Yeah, there are social workers that's supposed to be there for them and help them, but some social workers don't do their job, just to be
No,
honest.
they don't.
So
That's facts.
yeah, so that
Mm-hmm.
leaves the child literally hopeless. It
Mm-hmm.
leaves them feeling like, where do I go? I'm
Yeah.
here, yeah, but here for what? So just thinking about that, and like you said, with um doing talking to them, telling them that you love them on a daily basis, it definitely helps them. It helps build their character, their confidence. And then also, not only that, but when they see that you're walking it out, you know when they see you, not just talking to them or talking at them, but you're
Mm-hmm.
walking, you're doing the same, taking the same steps to become a better person, a better
Mm-hmm.
mom. That helps them too. That grows them as well. So again, like even with the foster kids, even though they come from several different homes, or 18, 19 coming out of foster care, that doesn't matter. They still matter. You can still help them. I know a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
say that after a certain age, a child, it's you can't really do much. That's not true. I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's true. I'm not going to stand on that. I'm not going to believe that. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, long as you show them children and you lead by example, meaning be who you say you are,
Mm-hmm.
you can help them. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're
Yeah.
going to do.
That's awesome because the children, they need it. They need
They
it.
do.
They need it because the way that the system is so messed up.
Yes.
Working for the system, I done been on both sides of the desk. I done been in the system
Mm-hmm.
and I done worked for the system.
Wow.
And I've watched. It's like, okay, are we trying to build a stronger bond within the
Mm-hmm.
family? or you're just focused on what the mama or the daddy did? Are we
Right.
really trying to come up with an action plan that's going to work and go forth, or are you just going to throw something together just to say, I did my part?
Right.
Did you really do your part?
That's deep.
Because
That's
even with my children, they sent my children back to my abuser. So you took them from me and sent them back to my abuser.
mm,
Really?
right.
And you thought that was okay? You thought it's feasible
Right.
because I had a moment? Yeah, I did. I tried to commit suicide. So you thought I was an unfit mother, but then you put them in the hands of my abuser
Mm-hmm.
and think that that situation is going to be even better for them.
For them. Right. Right.
So what are we really looking at? Are you looking at the life of the children,
Mm-hmm.
or are you just looking at, well, mama is not in a stable situation, so we just got to put them somewhere.
Right.
Let me put them here.
Mm-hmm. And that's
What
really
about the
what,
children? Yeah.
yeah. And I feel like that's what they do with a lot of them. Instead of really giving them the counseling to help them heal, talking to the
Right.
children, they just, oh, just brush them off. Okay, we'll give them to this next family.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, results don't come that way.
They
Building
don't.
them up doesn't come that way by just pushing them off on the next family. Talk to the children, create a program,
Mm-hmm.
a counseling. Make sure they go to, like they need counseling. They do. Children in foster care need counseling because they need
Mm-hmm.
someone that they can talk to, that they
Mm-hmm.
feel that they can express themselves and not get in trouble for it. Not
Right.
have to worry about, well, when I get back, I'm getting talking to,
Mm-hmm.
about not get a chance to, bathe, fed, whatever the case may be, however that person is, they shouldn't have to worry about that when they go back to the foster home. They need to be able to have someone that they can talk to and they can reach out
Mm-hmm.
to on a daily basis if they have to, because some children are so bad off they do need to talk to someone on a daily basis, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, when you've been switched around from home to home, or even just giving up to maybe your God family or something like that for a little while, that does it have you feeling like, okay, like who am I as a person?
Right.
Like, was I not good enough to still be in the home? But then it comes with healing. Once I started healing, it wasn't about, oh, what about me? It focused on more so of my mom. I understand and I
Mm-hmm.
forgive you because I at what age you were at the time, I couldn't imagine having 4 children. So at the same time, we sometimes we have to stop looking at ourselves as a victim and start really understanding where the person might have been at the time. We're
Mm-hmm.
not in a good headspace. Going back to, like you said, you trying to commit suicide and they put them with the abuser. No, just come to me and see what's going on. Help me. Help me heal.
Mm-hmm.
Help us heal together as a family. And that's where it all starts. We have to just start healing and
Mm-hmm.
meditating, breathing, focusing on our breathing helps
Yes.
a lot. And that's kind of how my healing started, from coming from my relationship, my 6-year relationship, is I had to really start breathing and taking time away and really kind of caring for myself, because
Mm-hmm.
when you caught up in a relationship, you kind of you lose yourself. You don't kind of you
Mm-hmm.
lose yourself, especially if it's an unhealthy relationship. You'll lose yourself. So even though I wasn't in foster care, I did go. I had godparents. So,
Mm-hmm.
I know how it feels to not be not feel like you're wanted on either
Right.
side, battling with that. I have had attempts of suicide as well, as a young child, and thought about it as an adult, especially in the relationship that I been out of almost 3 years now. So, and it was one episode, to be honest, I don't remember, but my friend was telling me about it, and it was like, wow, thank God. And when I say thank God, I mean thank God, because it was all God that was protecting me, and I would say that was protecting me throughout that particular process.
Right.
Because if it wasn't for Him, I literally probably would be dead and gone. So I thank God for, so much. So I just have to extend my heart to these children. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. Um, because our kids are everything.
Mm-hmm.
My children, just thinking about them, and they're 12 and 16. But I couldn't imagine life without them. And so just with that, for them to see how much other children may need help, may not have that love. They come home and tell me some stories regarding certain people that may come across at school. Maybe not have shoes and things like that, or their shoes so wore out. And when they tell me that, it's like, God, like, it's something that can be done, with to help. So that's just my heart. And I'm just ready to move forward in this and to help these children because they need
Mm-hmm.
it. We have to start because, again, our children is our future. Our children,
They are.
every child is precious, regardless of what, they are precious.
It's so true. Listen, you should have warned me. I should have had my tissue box with me. I said I wasn't
One
gonna be
attention.
crying today. My eyes is all watery and whatnot. We gonna
It wasn't
hold.
intentional. I'm sorry.
No, you're
Oh,
fine.
Jesus.
But it's so true. Listen, y'all. Valerie has a nonprofit organization called Beautiful Ashes. It's in the state of Alabama. However, that gives no reason. You can still donate. You can still contribute to a good cause because our children are suffering.
Yes.
Those teachers, whoever's watching on the replay, whoever comes across this, y'all listen, teachers. Those children that y'all think is the baddest children ever and rebellious, it's time to start investing in our children because
Yes.
they didn't ask to be in this world. They
Exactly.
didn't ask to be here. They didn't say, okay, me, I'll go first. They they didn't participate in the selection to be brought into this world. It was our choices that brought the children into the world.
Exactly.
It's our job, parents, teachers, counselors, advocates. It's our job to fend for our children because they don't know how to fend for themselves. If they don't have nobody fending for them, where do you think they're going to end up? Either behind bars, dead, or somewhere in some psycho center because they done lost their minds.
That's true. And just kind of, I'm sorry.
It's okay because I hear
um,
your passion, so you're good.
okay, thank you. And and like you were saying, they want to just push off the children. They feel like it's bad. It's a reason behind everything that a child is doing. Understand that. And a lot of them don't understand, or I'm not going to say care, but a lot of them just don't understand. But we have to start trying to be more understanding.
Mm-hmm.
We have to stop being judgmental because who are we to judge? Who are we to
Mm-hmm.
judge? We go through the same, maybe not the same thing, but we go through something similar. And each situation is different and unique in its own way. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, we're still all going through something. So at
Mm-hmm.
what time do we stop and say, okay, I understand. Okay, I'm willing
Right.
to try. Okay, let's see how far we can take this by
Mm-hmm.
helping these children. coming to, like I said, not only their own, but just giving them, even just the care, though, just showing them that it
Right.
starts somewhere. That's the only way that we can, move forward, is starting somewhere with these children.
Mm-hmm.
And also just thinking about some kids that I know I have come across, whether they're on, seeing them on the side of the road or wherever, just seeing how hopeless they look.
Hmm.
It's like, yeah, I'm sitting here today, but what am I going to do here within the next hour? Where will I be?
Right.
Where would I eat? What even think about, it's getting cold outside.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to put on to keep me warm? Where can I go to where I can stay warm, be sheltered? it,
Mm-hmm.
you have to think about all of that. To me, it's worse in the wintertime, because it's, at least in the summer they can kind of, work, try to figure out something to stay as warm as cool as they need to. But in the wintertime, if you don't have the items you need, the coats, the gloves, the hats, the socks, the
Mm.
pants, sweatpants, whatever the case may be, if you don't have those items, what are you going to do? They're going to be cold. They're going to,
Mm-hmm.
be freezing. It's I don't know. I just don't understand it, because I just feel like it's so much that can be done,
Mm-hmm.
that's not being done. And this is for, the ones that really know, that's involved in the system, and know how the system works. It's definitely more that can be done, that's not being done. But it's time for us to stand and say something, and to move forward and work in it, so that way maybe with us moving forward, they'll start saying, oh, now let us try to move forward. Let's see what we can do to improve the system,
Come
because the
on.
system needs to be improved.
Yes.
That's where it starts. Let's improve the system. Not saying that you have to change the whole system up, but it needs to be improved. And we're going to help them improve it, because we're standing behind God's word. So with that being said, how far can we go? Nothing is impossible without him. We got to do everything with him. And that's what we're standing on. Everything for him to guide us
Mm-hmm.
every which way. And we're not trying to rush it, because again, we wanted to make sure that, everything is in order. That's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. We want to make sure it's in order, because, us trying to rush out there and put it together a system, if it's no results coming from behind it, success stories coming behind it, what's the point?
Right.
It's no point. So we're not rushing into anything. We want to start providing first,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of it will come.
Mm-hmm.
But the children matter. Every child
Mm-hmm.
matters, regardless of where they are. Even single parent homes. And again, I'm a single parent. Foster children, most definitely, because they need that. But again, everyone that has a child, your child matters. So let's
Yes.
come together. We have to come together, so we can improve the world, because they are our future.
They
And
are.
they are. And they're the next presidents and all. So, by us being the example, a better example than maybe what we grew up as, it starts there. And they'll see that, and they'll start walking it out. And I
Yes.
keep saying
Walk
that
it
because that's what
out.
it's all
Walking it
about.
out.
Yes, that's what it's all about, walking it out. You may not know where you're
Mm-hmm.
going, or where you may end up, but stepping out, walking by faith and not by sight, you will go a lot
Yes.
further. Then start, oh, I see, oh, I can't go that way. Oh, I can't. You don't know what's that way. Just go after it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what, like I said, that's what it is regarding the foster children, just to go walk it out, help them walk it out. And I just feel like, just by touching one child, teaching one child at a time, if we have to, however it has to go, that's a big change. It's a big
Mm-hmm.
difference, because again, we're trying to change, to improve, not change necessarily, well, really change, but improve the system.
Yes.
That's what we have to improve the system.
Has to be improvement. It's
Yes,
important. It is very
very
important.
much.
So I want I'm gonna read two poems that
Okay.
comes out of my book. One of the poems is speaking from the little girl. The other poem is speaking from the mother. And I'm going to draw a question after reading these two poems. So the first poem is titled, Little Girl, Where Are You? One day the Lord called out to me and said, Little girl, where are you? Come out from wherever you are. You cannot go far. Little girl, where are you? You can no longer hide. You have a work to do. Come out, little girl, let me show you. As an adult, the little girl in me was still suffering. She still cried out from the pain she has never talked about. She cried out, sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A little girl that did not have an identity for a while, walking around stealing everyone else's style. For years as an adult, I was in denial. From time to time, this little girl rises to the surface, not knowing what her true God given purpose is. This little girl never wanted to live because she felt her life had no purpose. Why am I here? Is what she would say. I'm ready to go now. Lord, please take me today. What's a mother to do? What is a mother to do when she tries to give her kids the world, but it is not to their satisfaction? Your kids break out from your love as though they had an allergic reaction. What is a mother to do when it appears the odds are stacked up against you? What is a mother to do? What is a mother to do when the enemy comes in like the flood, leaving you in tears, bleeding out puddles of blood? What is a mother to do when your kids act as though you show them no love? But in a mother's eyes, I've done all that I could think of. But to them, it's still not enough. What is a mother to do when things become too rough? They say you must remain tough. Keep fighting. But what happens when you done had enough? I done cried and I prayed and I cried and I prayed. I done shouted out, Jesus save. When I see coming my way a huge tidal wave, my kids going on a rampage, acting as though they do not know how to behave. Father, their lives to you I gave. I have released them back to you. So tell me, Father, what is a mother to do? Father, I trust you. So please tell me, what is a mother to do? What is a mother to do when she does not know what she is doing? Though she may know her calling, it does not stop the tears from falling. What is a mother to do when it appears her hands are all tied up? Granted, her hands have been taught to fight in war, but what happens when she does not have the strength to war no more? When it seems like everything is such a hard chore, what is a mother to do? When her mind is clouded with thoughts, feeling as though she is lost, what is a mother to do? When she does not know the purpose in this season, all the hell she is going through, she knows is for a reason. Father, I need your healing. Despite how I feel, I know you're real. I'm depending on your word. Reveal. I know you're able to get me to a place of being stable. You are welcome into this wounded vessel. With my flesh, I no longer want to wrestle. I invite you into my situation. This is my final decision. My precious daughter, why do you think on so many things? Why is your mind so clouded? Have I not reprimanded you and told you to cast all your cares upon me, and I will give you rest? We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. If I am for you, then who can be against you? No weapon that's formed against you shall prosper. You are a child of a king. Do not be afraid of the terrors of the night, nor the arrows that flies in the day. I have not given you the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Have I not always perfected those things that were of concern to you? The power is in your tongue. Open your mouth, and it is done. Lord, please have your way. I need you right now, right here, today. I give you permission. Have your way. Lead and guide me as you may. In Jesus' name, I pray.
Beautiful. Both of them are beautiful. But that last one, how?
I gave those two because I was speaking from the child's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I'm crying out for help through my temper tantrums, my misbehaving, my lashing out, my rage, my outbursts, but you don't hear it. All you hear is a rebellious child that's just got issues. But you're not hearing through my rebellion and my anger and my rage that I need help. And I feel like there's no one out there to help me. I'm lost in this big world that I feel like I have nobody to protect me.
Mm-hmm.
So now this child begins to grow up and becomes that adult, but the little child in them is still suffering. So the adult is suffering while the child is still suffering because they never got the help that they needed. So now it trickles over to the adult, and now the adult is lashing out, raging, fighting, killing, pedophile, and all of those things, in and out of jail, drug addict, stripper, prostitute, whatever it may be.
Yes.
Alcoholic, so as you may call it.
Right.
So that child been crying out for years and years, but nobody paid attention. They looked on the outer appearance. That's why I love when God said, man looks on the outer appearance, but I look for what's in your heart.
Yes. Yes.
That's why God can love us with the agape love and unconditionally, because on the outside, I'm rebellious. I'm defiant. I'm not listening to God. I'm going to hell because I done committed every sin there was out there. But God said, I see your heart and I see that you're hurting. So let me come in and be the father that you need. Let me come in and be the mother that you need. Let me nurse you back to health.
Yes.
Let me mend your broken hearts and love on you. And then on the flip side, the mama, because, or the father, it could be either or, mother or father. They got that child in them that's still suffering. So they're going through these mental issues, schizophrenia, bipolar, anger issues, rage, becoming an abuser. They don't intentionally mean to be this way, but the child in them is still suffering. So because they never got the help that they need, guess what? That same feeling they felt as a child, now they're an adult, and now they done lost their children. The system is looking at them as the worst parent ever. The system is looking at them as, oh, you unfit. Oh, you this. Oh, you still not doing what you're supposed to do. So now that feeling comes back from when they were a child. So some parents don't make it to get their children back. But when you got systems set up like Beautiful Ashes, Empower Me Global Ministries, and you got YWCA and systems like that to say, hey, I'm listening. Speak your heart. Share what's going on because I care. But I'm not just telling you I care. I'm showing you that I care. You need me to jump in the ring with you? Okay, let's go.
Yes.
I got my boxing gloves on. You put yours on. You get the left, I get the right, and then we go straight at it at the center together.
Yes. That's what
it starts from the child. If you deal with the child, and studies show when children begin to lash out and misbehave, if you deal with it while they are children, it is easier to have them to revert, go through a full transformation and change
Mm-hmm.
and improve. I can attest to it. I
Right.
have two boys. One was the worst of the worst.
Mm.
Anger, rage, fights all the time, suspended from school, kicked out of school. But then
Mm.
as his mother, when I let him know, hey baby, I'm never gonna let nothing else ever happen to you again. I'm not going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna ever let nobody come between us no more. You are safe now.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank God for my husband because he then comes behind me like, man, you know you my boy. Hey, keep it a secret. But
Yes.
you know you my favorite. You know.
Yes.
So now he done made a whole turnaround
Mm-hmm.
where his grades started picking up. He's starting to believe. He's starting to have ideas. He's starting to feel good about himself. He's no longer
Mm-hmm.
walking around with a frown on his face or ready to punch somebody in their face. He's walking around in love.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But you got to give them children that support and start when they're young.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait till they get an adult and then you be like, oh, please, forget it. There's no hope.
Right.
I wonder why.
Right.
Nobody dealt with the child in them.
That's
So to
it.
be honest, as
That's it.
advocates, as counselors, I
Yeah.
thank God for the counselor that I had because she dealt with the little girl in me first before she dealt with the adult.
Right.
She said, I want to talk to the little girl in you. I want to talk to little Alicia.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk. Little girl, I need you to come out and have a conversation with me.
Mm-hmm.
And when she dealt with that, and the little girl was able to, I'm free. Then
Yes.
she said, now let's move on to the adult Alicia now.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's develop the adult in you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yes.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's automatic. You want to look at the adult without looking at the root of the
Ooh.
adult. Oh, that'll preach by itself. Jesus, that
Yes.
was.
Yes, ma'am. I felt that. Yes. And that's what it is. Dealing, it doesn't matter that they're 18, 16, however old. Start with the kid, them as a kid, meaning talking to them, giving them counseling so they can open up and start talking. And then once
Mhm,
that is conquered, then we can move forward with building them up as a young
mhm.
adult into adulthood. But you have to start with the root. But again, what we're going to teach them, just because of where you come from doesn't mean you have to dwell in that.
That's
We're going to
it.
move past it.
Mhm,
We're not going to have that victim mentality. We're
mhm,
victors,
mhm.
and we're going to continue to help you be victories in every area,
That's it.
whatever you want to do. And
Mhm,
that's for every child, even as an adult. We have to, when we don't have, may not have that foundation, that we have
mhm,
people that has constantly spoken life into us. We
mhm,
have to, we seek God in that, and then God then will start putting other people in our path to help us continue to build. And
mhm.
because that's what he has done for me just over the past couple of years. And I'm so grateful. Not saying that the people in my life didn't speak positive over me or wasn't positive influence over me, but where he's taken me, he had to put people from with the same mindset around me.
Mhm,
So not talking bad against anyone in my family nor God family, but because of where I'm going and where God allowed me to break generational curses.
mhm. That's it.
I
Yeah.
and that's what and that's what I want people to understand. It's not I'm not special at all, but God placed it on my heart. He gave me this, so I'm not going to sit here and be um, shy
Mhm,
or be in sit in disbelief of it. Can this really happen? Because if He gave it to me, and He's given me continue to like literally place people in my path as Prophetess Alicia. Seriously, I mean, it's been many people, and I would like to shout out everyone, but I'll do that in my book that's to come. I'm still in process of writing that, but he has, and everyone knows because I have told you, or told them, that has been a part of that has helped me grow. That again, I know it's all God, but again, God will place the right people in your
Right
path to
people.
help you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what He has done. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, at the end of the day, it started with talking to the little girl in me, because
Mm-hmm.
see, at first I was, again, going back to, I had the victim mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So once people start talking to me, and then they start helping me to open up as what I was, as and a little girl talking to the young Valerie, that's what started helping me to elevate and grow and to
Yes.
understand, and also, like His words say, renewing your mind.
Yes. Renewing your mind. That's
That's
it.
the biggest part that we have to do, is renewing our mind. You cannot have the same mindset
Mm-hmm.
if you're
In a
trying to
new
move further
place.
in life.
Mm-hmm. You just can't
Can't
do it. It
do it.
won't work.
It won't work.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, it would not work. So, yeah,
That's why
thank
he
you so
said, "But
much.
be ye transformed."
Yes.
And then he told you how you can go through your transformation by the renewing of your mind.
Yes.
So you want a transformation? Renew your
Hmm.
mind.
That's it.
That's just it.
Hmm. Stepping out of that comfort zone is also part of renewing your mind. That's what I had to do.
Listen, come on out.
That's what I had to do, and I'm enjoying the transformation that I'm seeing, not only in myself but in my children, even in some of my family members. So it's more to come.
Listen,
More to
listen.
come.
When you said you had to step out of that, it was two songs that came to me. Y'all that know me, y'all know I'm music inclined. I will come up with a song in a minute. If y'all have listened to Kingdom Marriage and Its Purpose, y'all already know she gonna come out with a song in the middle of her
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
But
Great
the song
song.
that came to me was "I'm Coming Out." I want the world to know. Got to let it show. But then
Yes.
I remixed it, right? And I threw in this song. I'm feeling good from my head to my shoes. Know where I'm going and I know what to do. I tidied up my point of view. I got a new attitude. So I'm
That's
coming
it.
out
Oh
with
my.
my new attitude.
That's it. And they both go together.
They do.
They
You can't
both
you
go
can't help
together.
but mix the both of them together.
Yes.
Come
Seriously.
out. When you come out, you coming out with a new attitude.
Yes. Seriously. That's so true. So true. And it feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
It can be, I'm not gonna say it's scary because I want to watch my words. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's different, you're not for sure if it may feel like it's wrong, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. So I just want to say that it's not wrong. It's You're just not used to it.
Right. But it's not for us to be comfortable. If
Yes.
we gonna be comfortable and we talk about I want the power of the Holy Ghost to be in my
Right.
life, the Holy Ghost gonna be like, what do you want me to do? You comfortable.
Yeah.
I gotta wait till you're uncomfortable. Then I
Hmm.
could be like, all right, there's room for me. Let me come on
Yes.
in.
Yes. That's it. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So
Sometimes and I know we have to go, but
no, you
sometimes the situations we go, I guess put ourselves in, because again, I'm not going
mm-hmm.
to say God put us in it, because again, at the end of the day, we have to make the decision.
We make the decision. We make the
So,
choice.
yeah. And the decisions leads us to aligning with Him.
Mm-hmm.
At the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's all in His alignment. He's going to let us do what we feel like He's telling us, or the decisions we decide to make in our own, especially when it comes to relationships.
Mm-hmm.
We got to walk it out. I had to walk their relationship out. I prayed for 3 years, Lord, get me out of this. And He was like, no, when I told you this wasn't it, you stepped in it anyway. So because you
Mm-hmm.
stepped in it, you're going to walk it out. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that He allowed me to walk it out because of the person I'm becoming.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more confident in myself. I didn't allow it to hold me back from believing all the words that was spoken, or all the things that was done. I didn't allow it to hold me back. I used it for the good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what his words say. you know
Yeah.
use it for the goods. Soft answer turns away wrath.
Yeah. That's
It may
it.
not in the moment sometimes. It may not in the moment, but just know, in the end, you will be victorious.
Yes, that's good. That's good. So in closing, just I have your Instagram up, but is there any other way that if people want to contribute, if people want
Yes.
to volunteer, help you, those that are in the Alabama area, if
Hmm.
they're wanting to help contribute because Empower Me Global Ministries has already partnered with Beautiful Ashes. I'm so super excited for that
Yes.
partnership where we're working together. This year, actually,
Hmm.
what we're looking for is donations. If you're in the
Hmm.
Alabama area, and even if you're not, looking for
Yes.
donations to start putting some Thanksgiving meals together, and
Hmm.
also for Christmas. We're preparing for Christmas because there's some
Yes.
children that do not have, and we're wanting to give back and make sure that
Most
the
definitely.
children have a wonderful Christmas and do have some gifts. So what are
Mhm.
some ways that they can contribute in your area?
Um, so you can reach out to me personally. My cell phone is 256-919-6333. You can also reach out to us via email, and that is Val at beautiful, um, excuse me, crowning beautiful ashes.com. And the beautiful is just spelled BEUTIFUL. So again, that's Val at crowningbeautifulashes.com. Also, I do have a building to where I'm able to put some things, and that is 1002 4th Street Southeast, and that's in Decatur, Alabama. 35601, as well as, reach out via my Instagram, Val underscore beautiful ashes. And then Beautiful Ashes also has its own IG. It is crown underscore beautiful underscore ashes. So yeah, just definitely reach out to us, and give any type of items that children may need, adults may need, because there's single parents out there that we're wanting to sponsor this year. We already have 3 right now at the moment that we're sponsoring, but we kind of want to do a little more. Again, last year we did a little bit last year, but we want to kind of put it on a bigger scale this year. So we definitely would like you guys to reach out to us. Hygiene items, I mean, shoes, socks, anything you have in your closet, gently used, that of course, someone else will wear. We definitely would like that. We don't want to just give anything to them, because again, at the end of the day, we want to encourage them too and build them up.
Right.
And so, by giving them things that we would wear and we would do ourselves, will kind of help them as well. And that could help them, even just, to move forward and into their dreams. You never
Mhm.
know. So, at the end of the day, we just want to kind of change, their mindset at the end, to, I guess, work hard and to become your own. Don't allow situations that you may go through hold you back. Continue to step out. So
Yeah.
that's basically what it is.
That is really, really good. Listen, y'all contribute, definitely contribute to Beautiful Ashes.
Please.
Again, if you're in the Alabama area, definitely link up, reach out. Also, those that did not catch that domestic violence number, I have placed it at the bottom.
Yes.
You see it scrolling at the bottom. That's that hotline number. That's 800-799-7233.
Reach out.
If there's anyone that you know that is going through domestic violence, whether it's in a child, if it's a child that's being abused, and they're in a very dangerous abusive situation,
Yes.
definitely call that hotline 800-799-7233, and someone will be on the other end to give you directions on what to do, on how to help that person, or if it is
Yes.
yourself, they will give you what to do on how to get help and get what you need. Listen, don't hesitate. Domestic violence does have a voice.
Yes.
Domestic violence has a voice, and that voice is speaking loud. It's crying loud and it's sparing
Yes.
not. It's not being limited. It's not just doing bits and pieces. We
Mhm.
all the way out. We're being the
Yes.
voice to the voiceless, and we're giving back a voice of hope. So again, I thank you guys so much. Listen, y'all
Thank
tune in. We
you.
will be back tomorrow with another guest. We will be back tomorrow with another guest. So y'all stay tuned. Y'all
Yeah.
stay tuned. Thank you so much, Valerie, for
Thank you for
joining us
having
and for
me again.
gracing our stage. It was awesome. It was phenomenal. Listen, y'all
Thank
take
you.
care. Again, don't forget to like, share, follow, ring the
Yeah.
bell so you can get the notification, subscribe, all of the above.
Yes.
Uh, Put a comment if you enjoyed it. As my son said when he was here a few days ago, put an emoji. Let us know. Put some comments down. Give us some feedback. We
Yeah.
definitely would love the feedback. So thank you guys again for
Thank
joining
you,
us
guys.
for another phenomenal show. This is Walk It Out Inspirations Talk Truth Talk Show.
Mhm.
I am your host, Prophetess Alicia Brown. Thank you so much again, Valerie. And until next
Thank
time,
you.
y'all stay well, stay safe, peace, and many blessings.